I'm Sigrid Kjeldsen from The Joyful Mother, and I'm super honored today to have Carol Tuttle with me. And Carol, well, I'm going to give you a little bio on my friend Carol here. Let me see, where did I put it? Hold on. Actually, Carol can tell you about herself, but I really want to tell you a little bit about her. She is a teacher. She's a speaker, and I'm sure many of you have heard about Carol. I've been following her for many years now. And she is the original child whisperer. She's the mother of 5 kids and the grandmother of 4. She supports parents live on her weekly call-in parenting podcast. And today we're going to talk about her 5th and her latest book, The Child Whisperer, which turns long-standing parenting assumptions on their head and gives adults eye-opening tools to understand and honor the children in their lives. So thank you, Carol, for being with me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
I think this was a fantastic book in that it the work that I do in The Joyful Mother is really all about helping parents shift their focus from the self-preoccupied experience of I'm not doing it right, I'm stressed. It's this overemphasis, or this, not overemphasis, but this focus on the me. I think we live in a me society, don't you agree?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of ways.
And this book was like, wait a minute, stop. It was like you said here, it said most parenting approaches honor the parent's nature rather than their child's, just because that feels more natural. And I think that's a perfect example of how me-oriented our society is. Even our parenting approaches honor us and not our children.
Well, and I don't think, in a lot of cases, parents don't know any different. You're going to do what feels the most natural to you.
Sure.
And it's going to feel correct. But ironically, if that's not supportive of your child's nature, because your nature is different, then you create a lot of need for discipline.
It's so true.
Correct. They misbehave. They're not cooperative. Now you have to discipline them.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest ahas in working on this model and creating the Child Whisperer was recognizing the most discipline is created by a contrary parenting approach towards a child.
Okay, tell me more.
So let's say once we get into the whole profiling thing and how you get to learn about your child's nature, your child has a certain nature, they're designed a certain way, they have a certain natural expression. It's not something you're aware of. You perceive it as something that needs to be corrected. You even at times can perceive it as they're being naughty or that needs to be changed in them. So in your effort to then change them, for them to conform to your perception of what's correct, they're going to act out because they're going to resist that. So now you think your child's even being more uncooperative. So now you have to discipline that.
Yes. Oh, okay. Man. Been there, done that.
2 or 3 layers into this, and you're going, it all started with your lack of awareness of who your child is.
That's right. That is so true. I tell you, this book has especially, my daughter is 9, my little one is 4. It helped me so insanely see him because he is, we'll talk more about the types, but he is, for me, he's very much a 3. Very rambunctious, he loves to get reactions from people. Now he's all into saying the F word to get reactions out of. Isn't that great? That's great. When the teacher comes out telling me he said the F word to kids, and then she asked him why he said it, and he said, because I like it. Wait, we lost Carol here for a second. She'll come back. On that note, there you are. I lost you for a second there.
My video off. I just have the audio.
All right. Cool.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. Okay, there we go. So she was disturbed by that, and I was too, and that was maybe a week before I read this book. And when I read the book, I was like, oh, he says he likes it because he likes the reaction he gets from it.
Yeah. so much that he favors that word. He likes what it's creating, the result he's getting. So what an opportunity to then say, well, how can I help support him in getting reactions that are more appropriate and aren't going to create a negative label for him.
Exactly. That's my challenge. But we'll get more into the different types because that is so interesting. Tell me, what is a child whisperer? I mean, we just talked about it a minute ago, but from that, I mean, what is a parent, like what is a child whisperer parent? Uh-oh.
Well, it's an intuitive parenting approach when you understand your child's true nature, which I teach you how to see your child's true nature, that you have this now vast awareness of them, that you can, in the moment, be intuitively guided to how to parent your child because you understand how they function from a very deep natural expression within them. And so the whole concept of whispering is based on being able to intuitively read what a child emotionally needs. It's the same principle that's based on what's become popular in the animal world with horse whispering and dog whispering, is that you're able to read what they need to be supported so they then are cooperative. And so I teach you how to read your children.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Cesar Millan. I get a lot of parenting inspiration from him, and I just love that the energy shift that we have. I mean, and that energy shift though has to come from understanding. It has to come from our own awarenesses and the understanding of our child. And he understands the canine mind so well. It's beautiful. But you said, I loved when you said personality is a byproduct of something deeper, a natural expression of movement which influences personality. You talk about that, and you talk about personality being, what else did you say? You said, yes. Yeah, no, I lost. I was gonna have something tied in here, but I lost it. But you talk about the essence, the personality being a reflection of the child's essence. I just thought that was so fantastic. Do you hear me? Yeah. Skype, you gotta love it. Do you hear me though?
And profiling systems have been
Darn it.
primarily a personality-based system. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You broke up, but I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Well, I think maybe we should turn our videos off, then the connection's a little better.
We can do that, yeah.
I turned my video off.
Okay.
Usually the audio then's a little stronger.
We'll do that, yeah. See, how do I turn my video off? But go ahead. I'll fiddle with that while you're talking.
Put your cursor.
Oh, right. I got it. Yeah. There we go.
And you'll see the little graphics pop up.
Super.
There you go.
All right.
Okay. Want me to start in there?
Yeah. Go ahead and tell me what you were saying.
Well, personality has been the primary assessment tool and profiling system. And what I've discovered is our nature precedes personality, and we're born with an expressive nature. It's really more expressed as movement. And that movement and that what I call your authentic nature is meant to form into your personality. If you're raised and if your parents raised you congruent with your natural expression of self, then you'll have a personality that's complementary to your nature. Unfortunately, the adult world is just full of adults that have developed personalities that are contrary to their nature because they weren't honored as children to the degree they needed to be. And I teach in the Child Whisperer that we have a prolific self-help industry for that reason.
Yeah.
Because we have all these adults trying to just come into more clarity about who they are and have permission to live their truth. So to me, it was just, if I can help parents understand their children, I can help change the whole, quality of our humanity, because we don't have to be repressed. We don't have to shut children down or repress them. We can start to honor the truth of who we are from the origin of our life.
It's just perfect work. It's such important, vital, sacred work. I'm so excited for you, for the work that you're doing, and for parents that get to read this. Something that I wanted to tie in just a little bit about, just a little thing that happened to me when I was a kid. I don't really believe that my mother kind of saw me. She didn't see me. She didn't see my essence. She didn't see my essence at all. And so I spent many years as an adult searching for myself outside of myself. And I think we as parents have the duty to see our child's essence, because in a way it's like, if we don't see them for who they truly are, I think children feel like they don't even exist. And then they've got to go out and find themselves. And I think that's what this, the world that we live in right now is. We're trying to find our identity outside of ourselves all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Or even adults that read this book will come into more clarity of their own true self. I find parents are...
We lost her.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. You're coming in and out a little bit.
I'm still here.
Yeah, okay, good. But yeah, I think you're right. I think this is so true. It's a great book for, like you're saying, for both kids and parents. So tell me, what is energy profiling exactly, and how did you sort of come up with this idea?
Well, energy profiling is an assessment tool that identifies into 4 groups, 4 qualities of movement that express in our human nature. And I've worked in the field of energy therapy for 2 decades now. So I've studied energy and movement in humans. And mostly as we express it in thought and feeling, as I started to see and capture the different qualities of these 4 movements that are expressed that I identify as the 4 types in energy profiling, I saw some very universal patterns amongst all humans that fell into these 4 groups. And then as I then chose to see it in children, I was able to see again patterns that were expressed in children that type almost universally. And they're very general expressions in people. We do different things with them. The same movements can be expressed in different roles and activities. And I teach you in the child whisper the most common activities and ways of supporting your child, so that it's very natural and complementary to who they are at that very core expression, so that for cooperation and they're able to succeed in the things they then pursue, because you're matching your child's nature with your parenting approach, with the extracurricular activities they do. Just you create a lifestyle that they thrive in.
Yeah, after I read the book, I was thinking, what can I do with Christopher that's going to get him really into, the results? He loves the results. Like you said in the book, like with type 3s, you get him to how, I'm going to time you. You go, how long is it going to take you to go upstairs and get your undies and come back down? I did it this morning, and he just races up the stairs. But in terms of extracurricular activities, I was like, okay, art class. He needs results. You should have seen him in the art class yesterday. He was so into it. I've never seen such focus. So, yeah, it's so true. You can use these types to help get your kids, exactly like you said, into activities that are going to really bring out the best in them. I love that.
Yeah, and then they're children naturally want to be cooperative, and they want their parents to be proud of them and happy with what they're choosing. They're not trying to be naughty. They're not trying to be difficult.
No.
It's that we're setting them up for that.
Yeah.
We're setting them up so that that's what we unknowingly are experiencing with them. So, yeah, I'm really excited that I think we can honor children more fully in this model, in this particular approach to parenting, because I really honestly feel and know that children are genuinely wanting to be happy and want their parents to be happy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's go right into the 4 types. Can you describe the 4 types of children?
Yes, type 1 is our fun-loving child. Their movement is upward and light. It's more buoyant, random. They have a social connection to the world. They love engaging with people socially. They have the highest movement of all 4 types. On the negative side, they're often labeled as hyperactive or can be seen as irresponsible because they're not supported in environments where they have to be very still and very singular focused. Mm-hmm. They'll create distractions for themselves just because they need a higher degree of movement and variety to really engage their own brilliance.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to take care of themselves in that effort to create more movement, and yet it's perceived as being inappropriate.
Yeah.
And so they're disciplined for just being. Our type 2 is our sensitive child. Mm-hmm. They have an orientation to the world.
Oh, I'm losing you a little bit.
They're gentle. They're very aware of people's feelings. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Go. You're back on, I think.
Okay. The sensitive child is very aware of the... Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. It's just in and out.
I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, do.
Okay. The sensitive child is more subdued. They're not as outwardly spoken. They're often seen as shy children. When it's not shyness, their design is to be more inwardly in their movement, and their ability to speak up for themselves needs to be supported and encouraged. These kids will get fussy and whiny before they'll actually be able to really tell you what they need or what they want. Yeah. And comfort is a very important experience in their world. Being emotionally comfortable, being physically comfortable, and you learn a lot about their need for connection when you read The Child Whisperer and how to create really comfortable connections with them. Type 3 is our type 3 is our determined child. They have a push forward, swift, more abrupt movement. They are more intense. They're more commonly seen and heard when they're around. They just make a bigger presence, and their connection with the world is physical. They love to get their hands on the world. They want to experience the world and the adventure of the world. And they love to do projects and see results and get things done. And then our type 4 is our more serious child, and they're more serious in their nature because they have a strong intellectual connection with the world. They're very keenly aware of their world. They very keenly observe adults, and they have a sense of being their own authority. They want to be responsible. So they like to model more adult-like behavior, and so they can be seen as know-it-alls, or they can be seen as not wanting to obey authorities when really they want to be seen as their own authority and be engaged with their parents as an authority. It's like you get to have the parent authority, and the child gets to learn how to be their own authority with the support of the parent.
Wow. That's amazing. And how do you see these types overlapping with each other?
Well, I teach that your child has all four expressions in their nature, and they'll have a they'll have a dominant in one that they'll lead with, and then a supporting expression in their secondary. So usually knowing their dominant, and I teach you how to identify their secondary nature because it plays a supporting role for them. And again, if you have all four expressions, every person has a unique profile and the different combinations of these natural movements in us. And families can create a high level of cooperation amongst their family members when not only the parents have this knowledge, but the children are also schooled in it, and they have it as a working model to perceive their other family members.
No, it's great. I love what you said in the book. You're like, don't just label your kids. Read, if they're old enough and able to understand, read these things with them and get their sort of consensus.
Yeah, in fact, they are very easily able to relate to it, and they actually, I think, the children that I meet that know it feel very honored by this being recognized in this within this model.
Yeah.
Little kids will come up to me and say, "I'm a type 4."
I love it.
I'm very proud of that.
Rock and roll type 4. I love it.
Yeah.
That is too cute. Yeah, so we're going to spend, especially with my daughter, she's definitely type 2, the whole comfort thing. I mean, when she's upset, I thought it was interesting what you said. My daughter will just go in her room and expect me to know what is wrong, and I think that's where I've missed the signals a little bit. And then she'll become, despondent and crabby and all that, and she's just asking for that comfort. All she needs is a hug. My daughter, it's almost like she gets so much out of just a hug.
Well, that's what you'll find as you apply the methods of parenting I teach. They don't require a lot of time.
No.
And they're very simple things, but they leverage huge results.
Yeah. It's so inspiring. It's like now, I look at my children and I'm able to understand, to kind of get down to their level and be like, okay, what's up? And, I remember I was in Norway. We go to Norway every summer for a long vacation. We have to escape the heat here in Dubai. But, and Christopher was about 2 years old. And really, I mean, if he's active now, he was so active and into everything. And I'm trying to explain this to my mother, trying to make her understand his nature. And even then I had an idea that this is just his way and he's 2 years old and come on, give him a break. And my mother's like, you're always making excuses for him. I'm like, no. And I think that's what we do a lot of time is that we want to immediately punish or label or, we put our adult expectations on these kids without giving them a break and saying, first of all, they're just kids. Second of all, let's get into who they are. What is their nature? What can we do to support them in that?
Well, I love the fact that there's the old school of, I don't love the old school of parenting. I love that the generation of parents now are not compliant to what I call the old model of parenting, which is the parent has all the power and children should obey just for the sheer sake that the parent's in charge. The kind of, I'm the parent, do what I say.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the way it's been. It's wounded humanity for many generations. And the current parent group, who is actually the age of my children, more so. I'm the veteran parent. I'm hopefully the parent who's learned from my mistake, figured a lot of things out, and I can now pass it on. Can I share my wisdom?
I love it.
Here's another, a fresh new approach that's going to honor your consciousness, the consciousness that you are in as a parent, and the much more conscious child that you're raising. Children nowadays aren't willing to comply to shame and guilt.
No.
And fear.
No.
They kind of look at you like, really?
And I think we use it as, I mean, and I've used it when I'm desperate because I didn't understand my child. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not because it's like desperation. It's like, I gotta get this kid to
Right.
put his freaking pants on because we're gonna be late to school, Like if you don't do it, da 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 da.
No, nowadays, even if the parents that use those methods, I think they're fully aware they're
Yeah,
using them, but they don't want to. But again, like
exactly.
you said, they're desperate, so they're resorting to things they know aren't in their child's highest good.
It's so true. And when you know your child from these profiling types, then you can really better discipline them. You talked about, I wanted to ask you how understanding a child's nature can help eliminate discipline. Can you tell us about that?
Well, again, let's say you have a type 1 child. Okay, yeah, let's use your son.
Yeah.
He's a type 3.
Yeah.
And now that you understand his need for physicality, for project, for adventure, for he's not going to do well being cooped up in your house, 5, 6, 7 days a week. He needs to get out.
Yeah.
He needs to be out and about,
Yeah.
and maybe even has more energy than you at times.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say you didn't understand that, and you would now say, I have to teach this little boy to settle down. He needs to be more calm.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to discipline him with that goal in mind, with that is the perception you're operating in as a parent to say, so his natural behavior is now fault. It's something that needs to be disciplined, just like the conversation you had with your mother. And then when he responds to that with more of a resistance and more of a push, now you've got to discipline even more severely with greater measures to really get this child to conform.
Mm-hmm.
So if you understand his nature, you now know how to support that so that he naturally comes into more balance and he's going to exhibit more calmness, more cooperation. You support him by giving him the environments that he needs and not putting him in environments that are not going to support him. You don't take him to a sit-down, nice restaurant for an hour and a half and expect there.
No, we stopped doing that. We do it, but we know what's in store. We bring the iPad. The iPad has been a wonderful way to get he gets that results thing going on in the iPad, and it's fast moving.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. Type 3s do well. Like my little grandson, 3.5, he's a type 3, and he can handle games on the iPad for about 45 minutes. But he could probably go 2 hours on it, but he's going to have a lot of pent-up energy that now is going to come out with hitting and shoving and anxiety because he's not moving enough.
Right.
So, with high movement children, TV, technology, all that has its place, but you've got to be really mindful of the fact that they need to move.
Yep.
And they need to move true to how they move life.
Yeah.
And so, it's very practical. It's like, well, am I disciplining contrary, trying to take my child's true nature and trying to conform to something that it's not who's there or not.
It's so true. And I've said that. I'm like, you said in the book, you talk about that type 3 is the one that shushed the most. I was like, oh my God, I'm so guilty of that. Shh. I'm like, he will cough and he's like scream coughing just to get a reaction. I mean, it's crazy. I
would love to meet this young man.
Oh my God, he is a character. He is a character. I tell you, it doesn't even stop there. He's nuts. But I was going to say too that, the thing about your angle, your approach is, if parents are listening to this and they're looking for a quick fix, this is not a quick fix. This is stopping what you're doing, reading the book, understanding your child's nature, taking time to contemplate your child's nature, taking time to see your child, to listen to your child, to really digest your child from a new perspective. And then start relating to your child from that place, and then watching and seeing how the child aligns himself. Wouldn't you say that that's the approach the parents should take to this?
Definitely, I think the initial investment might take, again, some time and energy to learn, and then to be but once you apply it, you do see very immediate changes that are very rewarding for a parent.
It's so true.
So the initial investment, obviously like anything, you need to just invest yourself in it, but then once it's applied, the results are pretty amazing pretty quickly.
It's funny. I've, just as it, like your book is like in the forefront of my mind the last week. And especially with Sophie, she, just giving her that extra time, and, you talk about physical touch and just giving her that, she is so much happier. So,
I would hope she's less whiny and sassy and, she's exhibiting a more content demeanor.
Yes, and she, she'll follow me around like she's so funny. She literally, like, we'll go to the car, for example, and instead of getting into the car, she'll follow me like I'm like, Sophie, where are you going? Get in the car, dude. Come on. So I have got to give her that physical closeness, and that's a good thing because I think I'm a part of that. I like that too. So that's how we, come into connection there. But this is so fascinating. I wanted to ask you also, what is the most common mistake you think parents make?
Well, I would say the most common mistake is, I think there'd be one almost for each type. Mm-hmm. So for a type 1 child, the most common mistake parents are making is thinking they need more structure. Mm. And if they have more structure, maybe they'll be less random and they'll get focused. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge mistake. They don't need more structure. For type 2s, it's thinking they need to not be that they're too sensitive. They're too, they need to toughen up. They need to just kind of get it. Life's not easy all the time, and don't let it get to you. Mm. And type 3s, the biggest mistake they make is trying to stopping them. Yeah. And rather than, the other option is to redirect them. The type 3 children get stopped a lot, and what they learn to do is go around you. They don't refer to you anymore. Mm. They just go their own thing. The older they get, the more independence they just claim for themselves. Mm. And the biggest mistake parents make with type 4s is not recognizing their need for being a sense of their own authority. And there's ways to create that I teach you even from the earliest ages of 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. Once they start to become more conscious in this world and interact from a more intellectual place. Mm.
That's great advice. Wow, that is super advice. I wanted to ask you too, just with regards to my daughter, because I think a lot of parents could relate to this. I know I coach quite a few parents that their children exhibit some anxiety. We moved here 2 years, almost 3 years ago now, and I think she's had both before and right after a couple of scary situations that we were locked in a bathroom and the fire alarm went off, and she's developed a little bit of anxiety from a couple of things that have happened. And she's very sensitive, that type 2. She's also type 4 for sure. She definitely, needs her space to be her own boss. But how is the best way to deal with anxiety in sensitive children? Because I think I've made a mistake of either buying into it. Like, I don't know what to do. I either, try to comfort her, or I'm like, you got to snap out of it. What do you think is the best angle?
Teach them how to express their feelings, validate their feelings. It's an interesting thing that we don't do a very good job validating a child's feelings, because we think the validation somehow is in support of what they're feeling or in agreement. It's not at all. Maybe they're feeling upset about something. Let's just even take an example of they want something at the store and you're not going to buy it for them. They're upset and you have feelings about it. There's a way to validate a child's feelings without them going along with the feelings. Mm. And recognizing their feelings. And type 2 children especially need to have their feelings validated.
Yes.
All children need it, but type 2s are especially the most feeling oriented. So just even saying, I just thought, I see you're really upset about this.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why, or just give them a chance to express that. And they have to learn to be encouraged to do it, because they'll withhold it. They won't come forward with that readily.
No, it's interesting that I think it's me being, a coach. I think all of our teachers say that it's easy for her to express her feelings, but that's because I've trained her to do it, right? I mean, how do you feel? What's up with you? What does that make you feel? Da, 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 da. So I'm all about that. But you know what? When you were talking, I was thinking also something that I could definitely do. Like, she's anxious when we go out to dinner, when we leave. And this weekend we're going to a party and we're going to be home quite late. I thought maybe something we could do is she and I could spend that day. I could really give her that contact, that listening, that all the things that she really needs from me, specifically on that day. Maybe fill up her tank, so to speak. Do you think that would be kind of a good idea, just to combat those anxious feelings I know will come?
I don't know if you'd hear her the full day. I think, too, I tell her that when you get home, you'll come in and just, even if she's asleep, you'll come in and let her know you're home.
Yeah,
even
that's
if
a good one.
you wake her up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think she'd appreciate knowing, oh, you're back, thank you.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If whoever's tending, if there's a way to call her while you're gone, and just connect with her through a phone call, too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's great advice.
Feeling,
Huh?
and I know it's hard. I know it's hard for you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you're still going to go, because everything's going to be okay, and it's okay to feel those feelings.
Yeah. Great. No, that's good advice. Good. Well, anything else you want to tell us about the child whisperer, energy profiling? What is your vision for the next generation of parents?
Well, I see. I'm pretty practiced in living in today.
Yeah.
So, vision. What people tell me a lot is they see that it's really having quite an effect on parenting at large. That this will shift. It's kind of the new way of introducing. People are called new thought leaders. So I guess I could claim that status in the parenting world, that I'm a new thought leader in the world of parenting. Because once you learn,
she'll come back. We lost you a little bit.
very proud to learn, and once you learn it and apply it, it becomes a lifestyle. You can't imagine.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Once you learn how to become a child whisperer, and you learn your child's nature, and it becomes your lifestyle, in which you now just even experience the members of your family, you can't imagine not knowing it. I say to my daughter, who is a first-time mom, she has a 6.5-month-old type 3 little girl, and I said, Anne, can you even imagine not knowing this about her? She can't, it's just, she can't relate to that, because it's so phenomenal to have this understanding about her little girl.
It's so true. It's a gift.
And how to support her. So I don't think it's a trend. I think it's something that's here to stay, because it works.
It is so true, and it's just you recognize the truth when you hear it, and there's so much truth and resonance in this, and I hope that other people listening can hear that from our talk today, and I hope very much that you go out and buy this book. It will change your life. I'm actually going to buy the book for my children's teachers as a end of school year gift. I think that's a wonderful idea too. Great.
Yeah, a lot of parents feel very motivated to do that, because they don't want their children shamed in the school environment.
Yeah, exactly.
They want them to support their child and their child to succeed in school.
Yeah.
And so I do see that in the future of the book and this information moving into the field of education. I believe it will go there and have an effect on how we set up teaching environments.
Well, I think it's a hugely timely book. You should be very proud of yourself. I think you're a
Oh, thank you.
kick-ass kind of lady.
Well, I'm your son's type. I'm a type 3, so I just go and do what needs to be done.
I love it. I love it. That is fab. I love that. I can't wait to see what kind of person he turns out to be. Both of my kids, and
I see.
yeah.
You're raising Michael Phelps. It's
I
like,
tell you
whoa.
what, I don't know. God, he's gonna be tall and like a beautiful Viking like his father. I can't wait to see what kind of to think that that little boy is gonna grow up to be a man with an Adam's apple just blows my mind. I just can't believe it.
Well,
But
enjoy him now.
huh? Enjoy. I know. Oh,
Because
that
I'm
little
in that,
body.
enjoy him now because I'm in that phase where parents say, "Oh, that went by so quickly."
It's so true.
Although I never said that.
Hairy legs and girlfriends? I don't think so. He told me he told me yesterday, he said, Mama, I'm never gonna
Yeah.
leave you. I'm never gonna leave you. I said, that's great. I'm gonna hold you to that. No. But well, I want to stay on the line a little bit with you, but I do want to end the call here for our listeners. So I wanted to thank you so much for being with me today. I've learned a lot. I hope our listeners have too. And again, Christmas is coming up. Go buy the book for yourself, for your friends, for your whoever you know that's a mama or going to be a great new mama gift. I think that would be a great present. Okay, thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's a great gift for